In the bush behind them trees, we give it to you freely. Baby, don't you tease. Get the lights up. Everybody wants to look at who and that's the big man. Get the lights up. Time to raise the lights up. Get them to 100% for the Alice Lights up, lights up. Get the lights up. Time to raise the lights up. Get them to 100%. It's the Alice Cause I know y'all wanna see it. Yeah, I know y'all wanna see it. Say you wanna see it. I know you wanna see it. I know you wanna see it. Say you wanna see it. I know you wanna see it. Yeah, we say we need them. Cause it's not no freebies. You came here to see me, please. Baby, don't you tease. Get the lights up. Get the lights up. Time to raise the lights up. Get them to 100% for the Alice Lights up. Get the lights up. Time to raise the lights up. Get them to 100%. It's the Alice
Salutations, salutations.
Get the lights up. Get the lights up.
You going blue? Hey, appreciate you for subscribing. If y'all just coming in, make sure y'all hit at the top of the screen. If you're just now coming in, at the top of your screen, you should see the 3 indication buttons. If you hit that, you should be able to press the like button and get the likes up. If you're just coming in, you know, love is love. Make sure you subscribe. Replay Gang, subscribe. If you just coming in, hit the like button. They're trying to say that the engagement is not authentic. They're trying to say that the numbers don't match. They're trying to say that you guys are not real people. So if you are a real person coming through the live, watching the live, please hit the like button. If you don't want to hit the like button, hit the dislike button. You know, just interact with the screen to show people that you are real. I looked at the watch hour times. The watch hour time shows that the numbers are matching, right? So if it says 38K views, then the watch hour time should be roughly, you know, in the 200s or 300s, right? So if you look at the watch hour time on the videos that they're complaining about, saying that they're going to flag, right? The watch hour time matches the numbers that's on there. So whether they want to believe it or not, people are coming into this live. Now, we're not getting as many subscribers out of the people that's coming in, and that's okay for now, right? But as long as we're in the algorithm and people are passing through the live, then that's a good thing right there, right? So we're going to listen to what's going on. The meeting is over with, or it's about over with. We're going to listen to what's going on around that said meeting. Listen to what some of what Trump is saying.
Get this settled. I've just had the honor of being with President Zelensky and all of the discussions that we've had. We covered a lot of territory, and I spoke indirectly with President Putin today. We're going to call President Putin right after this meeting. I'm sure we're going to have a solid meeting, good meeting, maybe a great meeting, and we're going to try and work out a trilat after that and see if we can get it finished, put this to sleep, because this is not since the Second World War.
If you don't know what that means, he's saying, like, I'm going to go talk to Putin, see if we can put together this 3rd meeting. The next meeting is going to be him the president of Ukraine and Putin sitting down. So we don't know if that meeting is going to take place in Moscow. But they're saying that the meeting today went well enough to where as though um, the Ukrainian president and the European, they have, set their demands on what they want Trump to go back and talk to Putin about. So Trump's going to make the phone calls and hit Putin up, so on and so forth, right? So that's what Trump is saying now. Hopefully he don't backtrack. Hopefully he don't,
Secretary General Mark Rutte, who's a great gentleman, great political leader in Europe.
My dad is amazing.
And here's some of the names of the people, the names that he is naming right now. Here's their, here are those people right here that he sat down with today.
NATO Secretary General, and you're doing a fantastic job. Thank you very much, Mark. Prime Minister Starmer of the United Kingdom, our friend and my friend, and doing really well. And people like him a lot.
Hey, make sure y'all subscribe to the page. Subscribe to the page.
France, who's been with me from the beginning, one of the first people I met.
Hit the 3 dots at the top of your screen and hit the like button. Get the likes up.
From day one.
Get the
I
likes
like him
up.
even more now. That's pretty good. That's unusual.
Now, a lot of this stuff is language barriers. Let's get them likes up. Let's get them likes up. Get them likes up. Let's get them likes up. We need to get them likes up, people. I hate to say it, but in order to show that it ain't bots in here, either double tap the screen or find that arrow button. Find that thumbs up button and get the likes up. The likes should be matching the amount of people coming in. I know everybody's not sticking around. Everybody's not sticking around, and that's cool. I'm just happy that we're passing through your algorithm. If we're showing up on your feed, hit the like button or subscribe. We're going to be here more now. So, the more you see us, the more you might be inclined to, subscribe. And we have more people coming over from TikTok all the time. So, love is love. Namaste, Ashe, salutations. And let's build the conversation, okay? There's a lot of things changing in our world. A lot of things. I think we need to understand that. And don't worry, all music is copyrighted and copywritten by us because these are our own songs. So you don't have to worry about that. All right?
That's a pretty unusual thing. Prime Minister Meloni of Italy, who's a really great leader and an inspiration over there. She's served now, even though she's a very young person, she's served there for a long period of time relative to others. They don't last very long. You've lasted a long time. You're going to be there a long time. Chancellor Merz of Germany, who is
it's all flattering, nice talk. I'm so glad this one went better than the last one.
And he's my friend, and it's an honor to have him as my friend. Thank you very much. Very good. You look great with your tan. When did you get that tan? I want to get a tan like that. President Stubb of Finland, and he is
reading all these polite.
Where are we here? We're
The nuke is coming. Come on, Third Eye. Come on. You can't say that. You know it ain't coming. Cut it out.
You've done a great job, and we wanted to have you here because you're somebody that we all respect. And you've had a lot to do with the success, I think, and the potential success. And thank you very much for being here. We appreciate it. And the president of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, who is somebody that we just made a big deal with all of those countries. I don't know. I think you might be more powerful than all these guys at this table. I don't know. But we had a great negotiation, and you're respected all over the world. So I want to thank you very much for being here. It's a great honor to have you. The Alaska Summit reinforced my belief that while difficult, peace is within reach, and I believe that in a very significant step, President Putin agreed that Russia would accept security guarantees for Ukraine, and this is one of the key points that we need to consider, and we're going to be considering that at the table also, like who will do what, essentially. I'm
Sorry about that.
optimistic that collectively we can reach an agreement that would deter any future aggression against Ukraine, and I actually think there won't be. I think that's even overrated, largely overrated, but we're going to find out. And I think that the European nations are going to take a lot of the burden. We're going to help them, and
See,
we're
Trump,
going to make it very
see,
secure.
I
We
like
also
this
need to-
conversation more. I like this conversation more. I noticed Trump is not as nervous as he used to be, right? He, like, if you go back and you look at the debate that he had with Hillary, or you look at some of the debates, he kept reaching for the water, right? His mouth was dry, right? He's a little bit more comfortable now, right? So obviously this deal it had to go his way. This everything that took place had to go his way to a certain extent in order for his level of comfortability. That means everybody kissed the right amount of ass in the room. You know, that means everybody kissed the right amount of ass and everybody was, you know, happy, right? So that's a good thing. Stop smoking dope. Okay. As soon as you stop doing whatever it is that you doing, the world will be. Matter of fact, just stop worried about what other people doing. How about that? How about you just stop worried about what other people doing? Take care of yourself, right? If you worried about what other people put in their body, if you worried about what you putting in your body as much as you worried about what other people put in their body, you might be healthier, right? You probably be healthier, okay? There is no deal unless Putin says so. Putin is the boss. And that leads me to this next question. Who do you guys think is in charge, right? Who do you guys think is in charge? Real quick, in the comment section, Putin or Trump, who do you think is in charge? I should see somebody. I should see 132 answers. I should see people just typing Putin or Trump. Come on out the bushes and type Putin or Trump. Who do you think is in control? Putin or Trump? Trump is in charge. Okay, Trump. Let's go. Trump holds the cards. Let's go. I like that. Like to see that. I like to see that. Trump? Come on. So I see one Putin. I see more Trumps than anything. All right, you want to go to BlackRock? Okay. Ukraine needs to succeed. I think a lot of people are banking on holding off because Ukraine is basically the threshold, right? So if they can keep Putin and keep them at bay with Ukraine, then that'll be good. But if Putin happens to take Ukraine, then what is that? Bosniak or whatever that is right next to it, that will be the next one. And they will be more so inclined to, help because they were already a part of the KGB at one point already. And remember, Russia wants things to go back to how it was when, the KGB was in high operation, allegedly, right? So when you're looking at this situation, territory, they need the territory. They need the crops in order to feed. Russia is kind of like being starved out when it comes to being able to fight, right? They don't have the amount of crops or good land of crops coming in to support a war, right? But if they end up taking this land that is in Ukraine, then they can produce crops. Because that's what this is all about. This is some good farmland, right? And plus Russia's people, right? So that's why they probably took, 20,000 Ukraine kids and named them, gave them Russian names, so on and so forth. So we're going to get into all of that too. That's a lot of stuff, right? You hear the Ukraine president thank Donald Trump's wife for, stressing how important it is, that these kids don't grow up in fear and so on and so forth. Because, over here, we don't know the depths of the battle that's taking place over there. We don't know about these 20,000 children that was taken. Well, some of us don't know about the 20,000 children that was taken and given, Russian names and so on and so forth. So,
exchanges of territory, taking into consideration the current line of contact. That means the war zone, the war lines that are pretty obvious, very sad actually to look at them. And negotiating positions. President Putin, also you have President of Ukraine, who is you just met a little while ago, and we're going to try and get a three-party meeting, maybe as soon as we can. And I have a feeling you and President Putin are going to work something out. Ultimately, this is a decision that can only be made by President Zelensky and by the people of Ukraine working also together in agreement with President Putin. And I just think that's very good things are going to come of it. So I hope we have a good meeting. And if we can have a good meeting, I'll set up a meeting with President Putin. And if you'd like, I'll go to that meeting. And not that I want to do that, but I will do that because we want to save a lot of people from dying. A lot of people are dying, and we got to save them. We got to save it. 5,000,
not that I want to do it, but
people sometimes a week. All
I
of
will
us
do
would
it.
Obviously prefer an immediate ceasefire while we work on it.
He's not looking at Trump while he's talking.
Maybe something like that could happen. As of this moment, it's not happening, but President Zelensky and President Putin can talk a little bit more about that. In the 6 or so wars that we stopped, we haven't had a ceasefire. And so I don't know that it's necessary. You can do it through the war, but it would be, I like the ceasefire from another standpoint. You immediately stop the killing. But I believe a peace agreement at the end of all of this is something that's very attainable, and it can be done in the near future.
Zelensky do not look like he with the shit.
The wars that I got involved in, we only have this one left. Of course, as I walk out the door, there'll probably be a new one starting, and I'll get that stopped too. But I thought this was going to be one of the easier ones. It's actually one of the most difficult. They're very complex. The next step would be for a trilateral meeting, and that will be worked out. And I just look forward to working and having a great result. We're going to spend a lot of time today talking about, and we're really honored you guys came over. I mean, these are the heads of major countries and respected all over Europe. And they speak for, largely, I think I should say, but pretty much for the other countries of Europe. And we will come to a resolution today, I think, on almost everything, including probably the security. And that's pretty much the story.
They worried about the security.
Mr. President, would you like to say something?
Putin 2028.
If you want, you could
cut it
come
out.
and you could stand.
Cut it out.
Use mine, or you could just turn around, whichever you feel comfortable with.
Thank you so much. I can speak without microphone. Thank you so much. I think that we had very good conversation with President Trump.
Very good.
And it really was the best one, maybe the best one will be in the future. But it was really good. And we spoke.
He's saying the best one will be in the future. That's when Putin's at the table too.
And we are very happy with President that all the leaders are here, and the security in Ukraine depends on the United States and on you and on those leaders who are with us in our hearts. They have been online before yesterday and etc. So a lot of countries on the side of Ukraine, our people, and all of us want to finish this war, stop Russia, stop this war. We spoke about it, and we will speak more about security guarantees. This is very important that the United States gives such strong signal and is ready for security guarantees. The second point, or maybe the first, the humanitarian direction, very important to exchange all the prisoners. And I
don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that like button. Hit that like button. Where are y'all coming in from? I see some, different people coming in. Where are you guys coming in from? What country? What state? Right? Rep your city. Where y'all coming in from? Don't forget to hit the 3 buttons at the top, the 3 dots that you see at the top of your screen. Hit those 3 dots at the top, and then hit that thumbs up button to hit that like button. And if you don't like the live, hit the thumbs down button, right? Hit the thumbs down button. Just give engagement, right? Other than that, you know, I'm glad to have you here. If you would like, hit that arrow button and copy the link or share the live, right? That's going to push me in the algorithm more, right? Maybe you might not like the live, but maybe I'll pop up on somebody's feed that do like the live. And if you don't like the live, share the live with somebody that you don't like. If you like the live, share the live with somebody that you do like, okay? But however, whatever you do, you know, share the live. Ukraine lusters, okay? At least Zelensky doesn't run from the fight and claim he had bone spurt. Damn, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Is that going back to Biden? I don't know where that was a shot at. But, you know, I don't think Zelensky is in the fight. I think he's the president. And, you know, diplomatically, he's the one who can keep his feelings and emotions in a check enough to represent his country in order to get the job done. And he's doing a great job. So, you know, shout out to everybody that's at the table, everybody that was willing to come to the table to have this conversation, right? Because whether we get the outcome that we want or not, it is at least saying that people are coming to the table for peace, right? And that's a big thing, to say that at least people are coming to the table for the talk of peace, right? That's a great thing. So
I was very thankful to your wife again, Mr. President, for the letter about our abducted children, and I hope that really it can be a historic role for the people to bring kids back to the families and be happy and get the families. Yes, this is so important, and I'm happy that we discussed it, this track with the President Trump, and
the kids. A lot of people are not talking about the kids in this situation. A lot of people not talking about the kids. 20,000. Imagine 20,000 kids being snatched from your country, given Russian names.
That we will find decisions, and then what is very important, that all the sensitive things, territorial, etc., we will discuss on the level of leaders during Trilateral meeting, and President Trump will try to organize such meeting. And
Trilateral.
he will come.
Trilateral.
Ukraine will be happy if you
both
participate.
want me there, I will be there.
Yeah, thank you. And I think this is very important.
So that tells you right there. He said that if you President said if you want me to be there, we'll be there. So now the only thing is to get Putin at the table. So you see, you know, President Zelensky, he's willing to sit down at the table at some type of trilateral, you know, but he wants America there, right? He wants security there. He wants America there to show that they're backing him, that they're supporting him, right? That if Putin don't, you know, go through with his side of it, you know, because all of this is about backsliding. This is about backsliding, right? Yeah, all the kids was given new names. The kids that was taken from, as a Native American and my grandmother being kidnapped by the U.S. government and forced into breeding school or boarding school, given a new name. Oh, we not, okay, you're right.
Yeah, so security guarantees bring kids back, and all our people, not only warriors, first of all warriors, and all the civilians, journalists, a lot of people in prison. So we need them back, and guarantees which will work for the years. We spoke about it, and I showed to President a lot of details on the battlefield, on the map. Thank you so much. Thank you for the map, by the way.
Good map.
It was great. Yeah. I'm thinking how to take it back.
We'll get you.
No. I think that we had constructive, specific meeting, and I'm very thankful to all the leaders who are here, and you helped a lot, and so we're happy that we have such big unity today. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much,
for hosting us.
Mr.
Thank you.
President. I think you'll see that President Putin really would like to do something else. I think when we set that up,
Triggs was good. We back in the algorithm tonight.
I think you're going to see some really positive moves. I know there's over 1,000 prisoners, and I know they're going to release them. Maybe they're going to release them very soon, like immediately, which I think is great. But we're going to set that up today after this meeting. So very good and great remarks. I appreciate it. Mark, as head of NATO, maybe you could say a few words, please.
Yes, I will be very brief. I really want to thank you.
All right, head of NATO talking. Let's go.
That you, as I said before, broke the deadlock. Basically, with President Putin by starting that dialogue, and I think it was in February that you had the first phone call, and where we are today, and that is, I think, if we play this well, we could end this, and we have to end this. We have to stop the killing. We have.
I want you guys to know that there is a lot of respect at this table right here. I'm watching them, pull their seats back so, certain people can address all of them when they're looking down the table, so on and so forth. I'm watching different levels of respect at this table with different body languages and everything like that. If you guys, paying attention, to the different body languages, you see these two guys right here, with their arms on the table. Now, 9 times out of 10, a lot of people are taught not to put your elbows on the table, so on and so forth. So you see them putting their elbows on the table. This is a sign of paying, giving that full attention to it. But that also that intriguing body language to say that, you guys have our attention, right? There's a lot of signs and symbols that are happening, and there's a lot of different levels of high respect and regards to this whole table right here. If you guys pay attention or watch the body language.
To stop the destruction of Ukraine's infrastructure. It is a terrible war, so I'm really excited. And let's make the best out of today and make sure that from today onwards, we get this thing to an end as soon as possible. I really want to thank you for your leadership, what you are doing for Lodemir, but of course...
Wait. Elbows on the table are for when you are eating, right? But it's called table etiquette, right? So it's called table etiquette. It ain't just damn when you're eating. Nobody just sits at the table with their elbows plopped on the table.
Also, all the European colleagues, it is really crucial. And the fact that you have said, I'm willing to participate in the security guarantees is a big step. It's really a breakthrough, and it makes all the difference. So also thank you for that.
Well, NATO also has agreed from 2% to 5%, which is something that is a massive amount of money. And it's 2% that wasn't always paid to 5% that is paid. That's a big difference. And so we appreciate that. That was a great move. Thank you very much. Ursula, maybe on behalf of the Commission, you could say a couple of words.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. And it's a very important moment. Indeed, we are here, Europeans, as friends and allies. We had a fantastic NATO summit. Together as the 2 largest and biggest economies in the world. We had the largest trade deal ever agreed. And now we are here to work together with you on a just and lasting peace for Ukraine. Stop the killing. This is really our common interest, stop the killing. And indeed, it's very good to hear that we're working on the security guarantees, Article 5 lies security guarantees, so important. But I want to thank you also that you mentioned the thousands of Ukrainian children that have been abducted. And as a mother and grandmother, every single child has to go back to its family. This should be one of our main priorities also in these negotiations, to make sure that the children come back to Ukraine, to their families.
Thank you. And we did. It was just thinking we're here for a different reason, but we just a
Hold
couple
on,
of weeks.
hold on. European leaders are scared and disgusted. So basically what you're saying is the European leaders are come together on this because they want to make sure that, you know, Trump ain't go over to the dark side. And they're using their words of, you know, kind, reassuring, comforting words in order to assure that Trump does the right thing or to make sure that they get the best out of this that they can possibly get. In their regards,
You made the largest trade deal in history, so that's a big thing, and congratulations. That's great. Thank you very much, Ursula. Mr. Chancellor from Germany, a very great leader.
Mr. President, dear Donald, many thanks for having us today. I think this is extremely helpful that we are meeting and hearing that the two of you are having such a good meeting today here in Washington. The next steps ahead are the more complicated ones now. The path is open. You opened it last Friday. But now the way is open for complicated negotiations. And to be honest, we all would like to see a ceasefire, the latest from the next meeting on. I can't imagine that the next meeting would take place without a ceasefire. So let's work on that and let's try to put pressure on Russia, because the credibility of these efforts we are undertaking today are
they want to back Zuklinski up. They want to back him up to make sure that, you know, because the way the first one, if you guys go watch the last live that we did, the way that first meeting went, terrible.
Wherever it takes place.
Well, we're going to let the president go over and talk to the president, and we'll see how that works out, and if we can do that. I will say, and again I say it, in the 6 wars that I've settled, I haven't had a ceasefire. We just got into negotiations, and one of the wars was, as you know, in the Congo was 31 years long.
See, right there, right? You got to remember, President Trump was the one pushing for the ceasefires, right? President was pushing for ceasefires, right? Now he's saying, like, you know, we haven't had ceasefires, so on and so forth, because Putin already slapped him in the face. He thought that after the conversation, you know, Friday, that he was surely going to get a ceasefire, and then he went and bombed some more shit. Right? So now he's saying, like, you know, we haven't had a ceasefire when coming up with peace agreements, right? But he's the one that was pushing for the ceasefire. And that was one of the Ukraine president's things that he was saying, like, the security measures are not there, right? Putin is saying that he agrees to certain things, and he's not, right? I think he counted 25 times he violated, right? And you can look into the sanctions that's been given to Russia. Russia has been sanctioned. We have been witnessing a lot of this over here, if you haven't been paying attention, due to the war with Ukraine. Anything that is made from that area, the price went up on. You know, cigar prices went up, so on and so forth. So if you're paying attention, you can see it, right? I hope you guys hit the sub button, and I hope you guys find that like button or double tap the screen to get the likes up. Appreciate you guys.
Another one that we settled last week with 2 great countries was 35 years going on, and we had no ceasefire. So if we can do the ceasefire, great. And if we don't do a ceasefire, because many other points were given to us, many points were given to us, great points. Please, Georgia, go ahead.
As you know, media gives you...
Yeah, but how do you sit down at the table if you're still bombing? If they're still bombing areas, how do you sit down at the table with them?
Donald, Mr. President, for hosting us today in this important meeting. And I think it is an important day, a new phase, after 3 years and a half that we didn't see any kind of sign from the Russian side that there was a willing for dialogue. So something is changing, something has changed thanks to you.
I told y'all, they have not been able to get Putin at the table for a conversation until up to now. At least that's how they're playing it on the world stage, right? You know, everybody's been sworn off of sitting at the table with this, you know, Putin guy, right? So now that they finally have an opportunity, right? All of them are going to try to speak, you know, through Trump in order to get, you know, this whole thing situated. Trump just keeps on.
Thanks also to the stalling in the battlefield, which was achieved with the bravery of Ukrainians and with the unity that we all provided to Ukraine. And the reason why I mention it is that we also have to remind that if we want to reach peace and if we want to guarantee justice, we have to do it united. So that's why it's a very good day, the one we are in. You can obviously count on Italy as it was from the beginning. We are on the side of Ukraine, and we do absolutely support your efforts towards peace. We will talk about many important topics. The first one is security guarantees, how to be sure that it won't happen again, which is the precondition of every kind of peace. I'm happy that we will discuss about that. I'm happy that we will begin from a proposal, which is the, let's say, Article 5 model, which was Italian at the beginning. So we are always ready to bring our proposals for peace, for dialogue. It's something we have to build together to guarantee peace and to defend the security of our nation. So thank you, Mr. President, for hosting us.
Thank you, Brian.
They really, listen, this body language, you know, they can't really look at President too long. Like, they can't really smile at him too long. Like, if you notice, like, they're talking, but they keep on having to look away, like, at each other and give each other, like, and like, it's like a lot of distrust in this room. Even though it's a lot of power in this room, you got to remember, these are powerful people. You know what I mean? These are powerful people. In their country, they say something and it's going to get done. You know what I mean? This is one of those bend the knee type things. You know what I mean? It's rare that you see these particular people bend the knee. You know, and I'm not saying that that's what they're doing at this particular time. I'm just saying it's rare. So you catch them in their awkwardness, right? In certain variations, parts of this conversations is awkward to them, right? Because they're looking at potential, something, someone that holds a little bit more power to them. You got to think, like, whereas though some of these people wouldn't dare have a conversation with Putin. You know what I mean? Trump done won out and had a conversation with him and so on and so forth. So a lot of them is like, they probably, having a different view.
Emmanuel.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Come on, be a little bit polite, man. Be a little bit polite in here, man.
And everything was said, but I just have to say here, everybody around this table is in favor of peace. And we work very hard, and we've worked very hard during the past few years to have a peace which is a robust and long-standing peace. This is why the idea of a trilateral meeting is very important, because this is the only way to fix it. And by the way, I think as a follow-up, we would need probably a quadrilateral meeting, because when we speak about security guarantees, we speak about the whole security of the European continent. And this is why we are all united here with Ukraine on this matter. In order to organize such a trilateral meeting, your idea to ask for a truce or a ceasefire, at least to stop the killings, as we discuss, is a necessity. And we all support this idea. And in order to have such a long-standing peace for Ukraine and for the whole continent, we do need these security guarantees. And the first one is clearly a credible Ukrainian army for the years and decades to come. And the second one is our own commitment, all of us. And we worked very hard during the past few months among the coalition of the willings with the support of NATO to build the different pillars of security guarantees and our commitments. And you can be sure that the Europeans are very lucid about the fact that they have their fair share in these security guarantees for Ukraine, but their own security is clearly at stake in this situation. So you can count on us as we come.
Whoa. Did you see what just happened? Do you see what just happened? You know, a lot more people are more so worried about the security of their own people. He said, you know, even though we're backing up Ukraine and we're worried about the security of Ukraine, that, you know, Europeans are worried about the security of their own people, right? Now, basically what they're saying is they know what's going on right now with Russia, right? So they know that if Russia comes to an agreement with Ukraine, right, they might go in a different direction. It's not going to stop them from looking for territory. Russia needs more terrain, right? So the rest of the people around, they want to make sure, hey, we secure too, right? Our ass is covered too up under all of this, right? They all want to make sure of this, because that's why, you know, the Ukrainian president is saying, how do we know that this is not going to happen again? We're stopping this from happening again, right? Unless everybody agree, you know, how do we fix this? How do we help Russia and stop this madness from, you know, becoming other places? Because that's what it's about, right? Russia needs territory. They don't have enough crops. They don't have enough good soil, right? Of course, Russia's not going to come out and let the world know, you know, that they don't have this. They're not going to come out and say, you know, these sanctions over the years have really destroyed them. They're not going to come out and say, you know, that, you know, everything that's happening, you know, has really took a toll on them. That's why they're so infuriated with Barack Obama, right? A lot of things happened under Barack Obama's, you know, time, right? And Joe Biden, you know, with everything that was happening then too, right? So they're not going to come out and say like, hey, you know, our people are, you know, we're losing people. You know, we're not procreating as much or as fast. They're not going to come out and say any of this stuff. You know what I mean? But obviously, they need more land, right? You could swap field, whatever it is. Some of that stuff is turning into ice. Some of that stuff is, you know what I mean? So they need more land. They don't got good soil, good crop, you know, so on and so forth, right? So they need more land. That's a fact, right? So that somebody's going to have to come into some type of agreement to give Russia some land. Some type of land deal has to go on for Russia. I'm just saying. And as you can see, they taking people. So they took 20,000 kids, gave them Russian names, so on and so forth, right? So that way they can, you know, brainwash them to think, you know, you're Russian, right? Further on. So that means they're taking, it's population. Their population is hit. Something ain't right. You know what I mean? Something ain't right. Their population has to be taking a toll. No, ain't none of it fine with me. I'm just explaining some stuff. And chill out. Dang.
And count on you in order to deliver this robust peace for both Ukraine and Europe.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel. Mr. Prime Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and thank you for hosting us here. Can I start where Emmanuel started, which is we all want peace. The war in Ukraine has had a huge impact, particularly on the Ukrainians who've borne the brunt of it, but it's also had impact on Europe and on the United Kingdom. There's not a family or community that hasn't been affected. And when we talk about security, we're talking about security not just of Ukraine, we're talking about the security of Europe and the United Kingdom as well, which is why this is such an important issue. I think this is such an important meeting. As a group, I think we've had a discussion on the phone a number of times, Mr. President, but be able now to be around the table to take it forward. And I really feel that we can, I think, with the right approach this afternoon, make real progress, particularly on the security guarantees, and your indication of security guarantees of some sort of Article 5 style guarantees fits with what we've been doing with the Coalition of Willing, which we started.
I agree with you too.
Countries together.
I agree with you, Em.
That we were prepared to.
I don't know nothing about what I'm talking about.
Security, with you coming alongside the US.
That's why the world is based off of speculation.
We could take a really important step forward today, a historic step actually, could come out of this meeting in terms of security for Ukraine.
So you see, why did they take the 20,000 kids and change their names and stuff? Why did they take 20,000? Never mind.
A just and lasting outcome. Obviously, that has to involve Ukraine, and a trilateral meeting seems the sensible next step. So thank you for being prepared to take that forward, because I think if we can ensure that that is the progress out of this meeting, both security guarantees and some sort of progress on trilateral meeting of some sort to bring some of the difficult issues to a head, then I think today will be seen as a very important day in recent years.
Oh, trilateral meeting,
which has gone on for 3 and a bit years, and so far nobody's been able to bring it to this point. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you very much. And, you know, it's very interesting because this is the first for the White House. You can't say that very often. It's seen a lot over the years, since 1800, 1799, to be almost exact. But this is the first where we've had so many.
NATO's out there. NATO's speaking too, so.
European nations. And by the way, Alex, I'd like you to say a couple of words too. You're a young, powerful man. Before I finish up, I want you to say a couple of words. Go ahead.
I'll take the notion of youth back to my wife and try to convince her. Thank you very much, Mr. President. I think in the past 2 weeks, we've probably had more progress in ending this war than we have in the past 3.5 years. And I think the fact that we're around this table today is very much symbolic in the sense that it's Team Europe and Team United States helping Ukraine. And the progress that we're looking out of this meeting is about the security guarantees, which are a big part of this. And then, of course, moving towards a process with a trilateral meeting with you and President Putin and President Zelensky. Some of the international media might wonder, why is the President of Finland here? I think the reason is probably that we might come from a small country,
Finland was there.
We have a long border with Russia, over 800 miles.
So, once again, like I said, they are all worried that if Russia is not pushing into the Ukraine, then they're going to push into their borders, right? Finland, all these other, that's why they're there, right? That's why all these people came to the table, right? Because they're saying, hey, we want to make sure that, this doesn't blow back our way, right? All these people coming to the table, right? Remember, they gave aid to Ukraine. They supported Ukraine, so on and so forth, right? So they want to make sure that Russia don't come bombarding their borders, right? Because if not the Ukraine, then where? Where are they going to go, right? Obviously, Russia is saying that we need land. We need expansion, right? Something. Because Finland's there. Finland's there. And he just answered your question. So when you sit there and say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, well, it seems like all the people that, they're all there. So if you could just, hit those 3 dots up at the top of your screen and then find that, like button and hit that thumbs up button. If you could just go ahead and do that, because it looks like I was kind of sort of, on the right track with what I was saying, right? If you listen a little bit faster, you might be able to catch up. But I kind of sort of was saying the same thing that you know, that's why they are there saying like, you know, hey, you know, we worry too, you know. So make sure you find that like button, double tap the screen, or go up there and hit the 3 arrows, and you know what I mean. I'm way off. You right. I'm way off. Finland's not there talking about their borders right now. You just heard this is Finland's president right now talking about their borders.
President Zelensky.
Come on.
Some of the international media might wonder, why is the president of Finland here? I think the reason is probably that we might come from a small country, but we have a long border with Russia, over 800 miles. And we, of course, have our own historical experience with Russia from World War II, the Winter War and the War of Continuation. And if I look at the silver lining of where we stand right now, we found a solution in 1944, and I'm sure that we'll be able to find a solution in 2025 to end Russia's war of aggression and find and get a lasting and just peace. The situation is very difficult, but that's why we're here.
Thank you, Alex, very much. Good job. So we're going to be in a meeting for a while, and we're going to discuss some of the issues. And I don't think there's any issue that's overly complex. It's at a point now where people want to do things. I really do believe, I've known him for a long time. I've always had a great relationship with him. I think that President Putin wants to find an answer too. And we'll see. And in a certain period of time, not very far from now, a week or 2 weeks, we're going to know whether or not we're going to solve this, or is this horrible fighting going to continue. We'll do the best to get it ended. And I believe you have 2 willing parties, and usually that's good news, but 2 willing parties that want to make a deal.
Now, all these people was at the table
together, and we'll go over and we'll see if it can be done. And it's possible it might not be able to be done. On the other hand, it's possible it will. And we're going to save thousands and thousands of lives a week. And so it's something we really have to do. And, or at least we have to give it our best. It's all you can do. You can give it your best. But I think we may have a very good outcome. So I want to thank you all. And the media, I want to thank you. We're going to be staying here for a little while. Then we're going to walk over to the Oval Office. And we're going to have another little discussion about similar matters. And then they're going to go home to their great countries and report. And I'm going to remain here and work. And you're going to go and work. We're all going to be working. We may be in a different location, but that's what we know how to do, is work. But I want to thank the media. Has been actually very fair, generally speaking, very fair. I think it's important that they're fair, because this is a very important subject. We have to get it ended. And so that's all we ask for, is fairness with the media. Thank you all very much.
I'm trying to see.
My work is easy because I use ClickUp.
I gotta look and see. Trilateral. So look, what do you guys think? What do you guys think the outcome will be? What do you guys think? I'm not buying bots. I don't know. I don't even know how to buy bots. See, y'all gotta make up y'all mind. Y'all gotta make up y'all mind. First, y'all say that I'm broke. First, y'all say I'm doing all of this stuff, right? And now I'm buying bots, right? So you guys really got to make up y'all mind. But we over at the Atlas family, we are going to overlook and, look past a lot of the stuff that you guys are saying. If they hit the like button, they hit the like button. A lot of people can just be in here and don't want to show that they're in here by hitting the like button. A lot of people just want to hear some shit. It doesn't have to be appeasing to the YouTube. And plus, you can go look at the numbers. The watch hours match the amount of people that's in here. So if it was bots, the watch hours wouldn't match. Because it would be bots, right? So the watch hours wouldn't match. Obviously, the watch hours match because the amount of people that's in here is actual people that's in here. But whatever you want to say, That's your story. You can tell it how you want to tell it. I appreciate people just sharing the space with me and being here to give me their attention. I don't care if they hit the like button. I really don't care if they hit the like button. I would like for them to hit the like button because that's what YouTube requires to show engagement. But I'm really just happy that people are here liking the space, and that's what it's really all about, right? So, you know, for the people that want to hate, hey man, do that from the back. Do that from the bushes. You know what I'm saying? Hate from the bushes. Keep it to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, we over here, we not into that. Keep it to yourself. You know? Keep it to yourself. You know, we could have did without it. We really could have. So hopefully, you know, the outcome of this meeting turns out good. Hopefully the outcome of this meeting turns out good.
To an end as soon as possible.
The important thing is they're at the table.
What you are doing for Lodemir, but of course also all the European colleagues.
You know, they're at the table. That's the important thing.
Have said I'm willing to participate in the security guarantees is a big step. It's really a breakthrough.
Hey, to the mods, you know, please overlook that. These people are just mad because they swear that we needed them for content. They swear up and down that we needed them to get subs. If you are tuning into the page or passing by Replay Gang or whatever, hit the subscribe button. The more people subscribe, the more they get angry. I don't know what it is, but when they see growth, when they see somebody growing over here, oh, they come out the woodworks, right? So they are upset that my subs is going up. They are upset that people are actually, you know, that I'm actually, you know, I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why, right? All we trying to do is just hold our space, you know, Atlas Family, Atlas Network, you know, we got music, we got merch, you know what I'm saying? We got merch, you know, we a brand. You know, we help people build social media accounts. We help people build link trees. We help people grow on TikTok. We help people build their pages on YouTube, right? Why hate on us? The world may never know. You know, Cat Williams said, no one knows why a liar lies, right? So we're not going to try to figure out why a hater hate, okay? We're not going to try to figure out why a hater hate. You're absolutely right. I got nothing. I got nothing. That's why I don't understand why people hate on me. I'm a creep. Damn, you don't even know me. Damn. Did I break up with you in high school or something? Do I know you? Damn, you just go around throwing out insults like that? The people in my life love me. The people I know love me. Huh? Dang, you need to find another space.
And, it makes all the difference. So also thank you for that.
Well, NATO also has agreed from 2% to 5%, which is something that is a massive amount of money. And it's 2% that wasn't always paid to 5% that is paid. That's a big difference. And so we appreciate that.
That's kind of like an insult, though. For I don't know if they know what, you know, certain words, but Trump said, you know, that's 2% that wasn't always paid to 5% that's paid, right? He's talking about NATO, right? Talking about NATO's paying the 5%, you know, and they went from, you know, sometimes not paying the 2% to now paying the 5%. That's like rubbing it in the face, like, you know, finally we getting our money from y'all or whatever it is, right? A lot of this is business talk. You know, a lot of the stuff that you hear is business talk, you know. Crazy. Let's keep listening.
That was a great move. Thank you very much. Ursula, maybe on behalf of the commission, you could say a couple of words.
Yeah, they mad.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's a very important moment. Indeed,
hey man, let the haters hate.
We had a fantastic
let the haters hate.
Together as the two largest and biggest
let them hate,
in the world.
You know?
We had the largest trade deal ever.
That's right.
Hold on, let me make it better.
Now we are here to work together with you on a just and lasting peace for Ukraine. Stop the killing.
Right?
This is really our common interest. Stop the killing.
Damn, they're like movie night.
Hear that we're working on the security guarantees, Article 5 lies security guarantees. So important. But I want to thank you also that you mentioned the thousands of Ukrainian children that have been abducted. And as a mother and grandmother, every single child has to go back to his family. This should be one of our main...
See, a lot of them is focused on the children. You know, that's why, you know, he said it was 20,000 children that was taken, so on and so forth. I told you that I was going to do the homeschool thing already. You said you just wanted to be in school. You was like, I want to be in school. I said, you might as well just let me sign up for the K-12 program, and you could just do homeschool, and then you could do the summer league and the spring basketball, because they do outside programs for basketball. But you didn't want to do none of that.
No. I changed my mind now. So does that mean I'm not to be in school?
You gotta wait until I can get you signed up for it.
Priorities also in these negotiations to make sure that the children come back to Ukraine to their families.
I found myself where I knew I need.
Oh, y'all want to bring up the Epstein files? Okay. Okay. I got something for y'all. Why y'all want to see how much he was on the list? Huh? Why y'all want to know so bad how much he was on the list? Huh? He was on the list. We know that already. 93, 87, we know that already. We know he was taking trips with your boy. Okay?
Private jet flights to high-profile parties, and that's only part of the story. Photos, flight logs.
So here, let's just get this out the way.
Their personal history really was.
Let's just get this out the way, okay?
Here
Oh,
with all of
shit.
that. And it is an extensive research and reporting that you all did.
That's my fault. I ain't mean to put the picture of my mom up there.
Trump and Epstein from the 80s
Sorry about
to
that.
what, mid-2000s is obviously when their contact probably cut off. What's the most striking thing
That was a picture of my mom. I'm getting her put on a phone case cover so I can have her on my phone case cover. And I took that picture so I can get her put on a phone case cover.
It paints this portrait of a long, enduring friendship. I think there were several associates who have...
Hold on. I ain't want to listen to this. I just wanted to show the list. All right, so you can see he's on the list. Trump is on the list. 93, 94.
Look at just a few of them. This is in 1993, for instance. This is the same year that we found as well that Jeffrey Epstein attended Donald Trump's wedding to Marla Maples. Trump flew on that plane 4 times with Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell between Palm Beach, where Mar-a-Lago is, and where Epstein also owns a home. Let's fast
Yeah, see, they're all on the list. You ain't got to worry about that list. It'll all come out how it's going to come out. The list is out there, right? We trying to focus on peace. We got to focus on peace, right? That list is going to come out, or is coming out, or has come out, or, you know, however you look at it, you know, it's out there, you know, that list coming out. We don't even got to worry about that. That's not even a question, right? You know, that's not even a question. That list ain't even a question. That list coming out, you know? We focused on this peace and sitting down at the table.
We made the largest trade deal in history, so that's a big thing, and congratulations. That's great. Thank you very much, Ursula. Mr. Chancellor from Germany, a very great leader.
Mr. President, Donald, many thanks for having us today. I think this is extremely helpful that we are meeting and hearing that the two of you are having such a good meeting today here in Washington.
Now you got to remember, all these people that's at the table, they're sitting around, like they're around Putin. So they got the treatment of the KGB. They know the treatment of Russia. You know, they know, you know, the Iron Claw or whatever you want to call it, right? You know, whatever it's called, right? They know that, right? This is known. So all of these people that's sitting down at this table, right? They done already had different interactions, right? You got to remember, Putin is determined that Ukraine don't become a part of NATO and all of that stuff, right? So Ukraine is trying to, become a part, make sure that they have the security, make sure that they have the support, so on and so forth. This kind of locks Putin in, right? This kind of locks Russia in, right? The only expansion that they would have is probably towards like the Arctic Circle or something, right? Wherever that is, North Arctic Circle or whatever it's called, right? They ain't got Alaska, right? You tell me what direction would they be able to go in, if not the direction that they're going now? That's why a lot of these other countries are worried, because what direction would they be able to go in? I'm out of my league. Tell me what land would they be able to take? Let's get the game. Let's get the board game Risk right now. Let's go get the board game Risk and let's look at it. You want me to look that up? What the map look like? Huh? Or you want me to pull up the Pangea map? Which one? All right, never mind.
The more complicated ones now.
North Arctic.
We opened it
North Arctic.
Friday. But now the way is open for complicated negotiations.
Did I say Atlantic?
And to be honest, we
I said
all would
Arctic.
like to see a ceasefire, the latest from the next meeting on. I can't imagine that the next meeting would take place without a ceasefire. So let's work on that, and let's try to put pressure on Russia, because the credibility of these efforts we are undertaking today, are depending on at least a ceasefire from the beginning of the serious negotiations from next step on. So I would like to emphasize this aspect and would like to see a ceasefire from the next meeting, which should be a trilateral meeting wherever it takes place.
Well, we're going to let the president go over and talk to the president, and we'll see how that works out, and if we can do that. I will say, and again I say it, in the 6 wars that I've settled, I haven't had a ceasefire. We just got into negotiations, and they.
I mean, I think that's the same thing that a lot of these other, countries are looking at. Like, I think they're looking at the fact that Trump was able to at least get to the table, at least get to the table, right? So I think they're looking at a lot of that to say, like, damn, he at least at the table with Putin. Why we have this opportunity, right? We all are looking for some type of idea of peace, right? There's no telling like how many other people, think about it. They're talking about 20,000 children. 20,000 children, So the way it's looking right now, it's like they have an opportunity, So I think a lot of them want to capitalize on this opportunity, as much as possible, see if they can get some type of agreement going. Yes, on both sides, there's going to have to be concessions. So, they're looking at it and they're saying, okay, you got them at the table. That's why they're looking for a trilateral meeting now, because they're like, okay, if Trump will be there, then let's try to put together this next meeting. And Putin's saying like he wants the next one to be in Moscow. So this could be all 3 of them going to Moscow, right? And the only question is, how soon is it going to be? Is it going to be in November, or they make it before then? I think they'll try to make it as soon as possible, due to the, due to everything that's going on. I think they'll try to make it as soon as possible. And like they're saying right now, some sort of, how do we go to another meeting if he's still doing drone bombs, right? How do these people come out of this White House meeting? How do they go to the next meeting, right? If Putin is still letting off drone bombs, doing stuff like that. So that's why they saying hopefully, you know, a ceasefire can be put in order until we're at the table for the next meeting. You know, they're saying like, I don't see, you know, another meeting coming out of this unless we can get a ceasefire in order until until we figure something out.
The wars was, as you know, in the Congo was 31 years long. Another one that we settled last week with two great countries was 35 years going on, and we had no ceasefire. So if we can do the ceasefire, great. And if we don't do a ceasefire, because many other points were given to us, many points were given to us, great points. Please, Georgia, go ahead.
Well, thank you very much, Donald, Mr. President, for hosting us today in this important meeting. And I think it is an important day, a new phase, after 3 years and a half that we didn't see any kind of sign from the Russian side that there was a willing for dialogue. So something is changing, something has changed, thanks to you. Thanks also to the stalling in the battlefield, which was achieved with the bravery of Ukrainians and with the unity that we all provided to Ukraine. And the reason why I mention it is that we also have to remind that if we want to reach peace and if we want to guarantee justice, we have to do it united. So that's why it's a very good day, the one we are in. You can obviously count on Italy as it was from the beginning. We are on the side of Ukraine, and we do absolutely support your efforts towards peace. We will talk about many important topics. The first one is security guarantees, how to be sure that it won't happen again, which is the precondition of every kind of peace. I'm happy that we will discuss about that. I'm happy that we will begin from a proposal, which is the, let's say, Article 5 model, which was Italian at the beginning. So we are always ready to bring our proposals for peace, for dialogue. It's something we have to build together to guarantee peace and to defend the security of our nation. So thank you, Mr. President, for hosting us.
They want peace.
Were you injured in a car accident in Ohio in the last 12?
They want peace. They looking for peace. You know? Hold on, I ain't paid for my subscriptions. I ain't paid for my my auto pay didn't come
Everything
out.
was said, but I have to.
I'm
I just
broke.
have to say here, everybody around this table is in favor of peace, and we work very hard, and we've worked very hard during the past few years to have a peace which is a robust and long-standing peace. This is why the idea of a trilateral meeting is very important, because this is the only way to fix it. And by the way, I think as a follow-up, we would need probably a quadrilateral meeting, because when we speak about security guarantees, we speak about the whole security of the European continent. And this is why we are all united here with Ukraine on this matter. In order to organize such a trilateral meeting, your idea to ask for a truce or ceasefire, at least to stop the killings, as we discuss, is a necessity. And we all support this idea. And in order to have such a long-standing peace for Ukraine and for the whole continent, we do need security guarantees. And the first one is clearly a credible Ukrainian army for the years and decades to come. And the second one is our own commitments, all of us. And we worked very hard during the past few months among the coalition of the willings, with the support of NATO, to build the different pillars of security guarantees and our commitments. And you can be sure that the Europeans are very lucid about the fact that they have their fair share in these security guarantees for Ukraine, but their own security is clearly at stake in this situation. So you can count on us, as we can count on you, in order to deliver this robust peace for both Ukraine and Europe.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel. Mr. Prime Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and thank you for hosting us here. Can I start where Emmanuel started, which is we all want peace. The war in Ukraine has had a huge impact, particularly on the Ukrainians who've borne the brunt of it, but it's also had an impact on Europe and on the United Kingdom. There's not a family or community that hasn't been affected. And when we talk about security, we're talking about the security not just of Ukraine, we're talking about the security of Europe and the United Kingdom as well, which is why this is such an important issue. I think this is such an important meeting. As a group, I think we've had a discussion on the phone a number of times, Mr. President, but be able now to be around the table to take it forward. And I really feel that we can, I think, with the right approach this afternoon, make real progress.
So let me ask y'all this.
But your indication is
hold on real quick. Let me ask y'all this. So if this is not about, you know, them making sure that this, so what are y'all saying that all of them are sitting down for? All of them are sitting down to say what? You know, make sure Putin don't what? He's going to come after our children next. He's going to come, if he has to give their 20,000 children back, he's going to come get our children next. Or he's going to come. What do you think all of these countries are worried about? What do you think all of these European presidents sat down for? What do you think the, you know, prime minister, all of these different places representing different territories that's around Russia, what do you think they coming for? To make sure that Russia gets punished? Right? They act like Ukraine won the war, right? No, this is a sit down, so they want to make sure, like, hey, listen, he's going to go at somebody. How do we know we're safe? How do we cover our own asses? That's what everybody keeps saying. Listen to him.
Some sort of Article 5 style guarantees fits with what we've been doing with the Coalition of Willing, which we started some months ago, bringing countries together and showing that we were prepared to step up to the plate when it came to security. With UK,
it's all about money.
The US alongside what we've already developed, I think we could take a really important step forward today. A historic step, actually, could come out of this meeting in terms of security for Ukraine and security in Europe. I also feel that we can make real progress towards a just and lasting outcome. Obviously, that has to involve Ukraine, and a trilateral meeting seems the sensible next step. So thank you for being prepared to take that forward, because I think...
I don't know if y'all see this guy in the background up here. I don't know if y'all see this guy back here, right? Up here in the background, right? I don't know if you guys see this guy up here in the background, right? But if you watch his face while they're talking, he is so suspicious of the words that are coming out of this guy's mouth. Like, he is like he's got his head turned to the sideways, like he's listening to him talk. Wait, look, watch how his, look.
I also feel that
up here, watch how he changed. He's listening real tough. Look,
a just and lasting outcome. Obviously, that has to involve Ukraine.
Right here.
A trilateral meeting seems the sensible next step. So thank you for being prepared to take that forward, because I think if we can ensure that that is progress out of this meeting, with security guarantees and some sort of progress on trilateral meeting of some sort to bring some of the difficult issues to a head, then I think today will be seen as a very important day in recent years. In relation to a conflict which has gone on for 3 and a bit years.
Remember, that's the one that was, you know, that's the one that was, you know, drilling, you know, the Ukraine president, the first conversation, right? So, you know, he's sitting back there listening intensely. You know what I mean?
Nobody's been able to bring it to this.
Yeah, these two in the back, they're listening tough back here. You know, Rubio and Pence, they're listening tough back there. You know what I mean?
We've seen a lot over the years, since 1800, 1799, to be almost exact. But this is the first where we've had so many prime ministers, presidents, the heads of European nations. And by the way, Alex, I'd like you to say.
He mad, he ain't sitting at the table.
Powerful man. Before I finish up, I want you to say.
He's from Finland. The president of Finland.
I'll take the notion of youth back to my wife and try to convince her. Thank you very much, Mr.
Notion
President.
of youth back to my wife and try to.
In the past 2 weeks, we've probably had more progress in ending this war than we have in the past 3.5 years. And I think the fact that we're around this table today is very much symbolic in the sense that it's Team Europe and Team United States helping Ukraine. And the progress that we're looking out of this
Team
meeting,
Europe, Team United
is about
States.
the security guarantees, which are a big part of this. And then, of course, moving towards a process with a trilateral meeting with you and President Putin and President Zelensky. Some of the international media might wonder, why is the president of Finland here? I think the reason is probably that we might come from a small country, but we have a long border with Russia, over 800 miles. And we, of course, have our own historical experience with Russia from World War II, the Winter War and the War of Continuation. And if I look at the silver lining of where we stand right now, we found a solution in 1944, and I'm sure that we'll be able to find a solution in 2025 to end Russia's war of aggression and find and get a lasting and just peace. The situation is very difficult, but that's why we're here.
Thank you, Alex, very much. Good job. So we're going to be meeting for a while, and we're going to discuss some of the issues. And I don't think there's any issue that's overly complex. It's at a point now where people want to do things. I really do believe, I've known him for a long time. I've always had a great relationship with him. I think that President Putin wants to find an answer too. And we'll see. And in a certain period of time, not very far from now, a week or 2 weeks, we're going to know whether or not we're going to solve this, or is this horrible fighting going to continue? We'll do the best to get it ended. And I believe you have two willing parties, and usually
he said a week or a week or two.
Want to make a deal.
So
and we'll journey together.
What's today? What's today? Okay. So he said a week or two, right? So he said a week or two while we get some stuff situated, right? So he's saying like maybe the first week of September. They might do it on September 11th. Nah, they not gonna do that.
We'll go over and we'll see if it can be done. And it's possible it might not be able to be done.
They all on that booger sugar. Everybody on that booger sugar. They came over here to try to get that
so it's
Tucci.
something we really have to do. And or at least we have to give it our best. It's all you can do. You can give it your best. But I think we may have a very good outcome. So I want to thank you all, and the media, I want to thank you. We're going to be staying here for a little while. Then we're going to walk over to the Oval Office, and we're going to have another little discussion about similar matters. And then they're going to go home to their great countries and report. And I'm going to remain here and work, and you're going to go and work. We're all going to be working. We may be in a different location, but that's what we know how to do is work. But I want to thank the media. Has been actually very fair, generally speaking, very fair. I think it's important that they're fair because this is a very important subject. We have to get it ended. And so that's all we ask for is fairness with the media. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
So that took place, and I don't really know. Like, to me, I think there's some good that can come out of this. Let's look at this map real quick. All right, so you got Russia. I wanted to pause it on the map. So we got the map right here, right? See, this is why I said, y'all keep on saying that I'm off, I'm wrong about this whole territory, this whole land thing, right? Let's see what they saying right here about this.
Obviously, why do you think no one has sort of touched that topic just yet? President Zelensky briefly mentioned it, but we still have no details about what exactly gets split up and if indeed there is a new Russia border.
So I think they're leaving that for the Trilateral meeting, if I'm guessing. That's number one. Number two, Putin made a very maximalist position that he's put out there. He said that Ukraine has to give up territory in Donbass that Ukrainian soldiers currently hold and are held by Ukraine. That's nonsensical. That's a non-starter. And so I think the hope is that once they begin to talk, they'll get rid of that idea, but then talk seriously about some kind of there'll never be a swap for Ukraine. I want to underscore that. They'll never say this is part of Russia, but could they agree to unification only through peaceful means, which would be de facto, that would be Russian territory? That, I think, they're leaning towards, as long as Zelensky can get a serious security guarantee from the people in the room today at the White House.
See? So they're going to have to come up with an agreement to occupy the same land or to coexist in the same territory. I don't know if they can do like, this is Ukraine, but this small area is territory of Russia. I don't know if they could do something like that, but they're going to have, and this is where that trilateral meeting is coming in, right? So they're hoping for some type of agreement upon that.
Most of the world wants peace, especially the people of Ukraine. Do you see anything holding this up or that could derail the entire process?
Go back, look at the map. So this is the air base, I think they saying that they're speaking on right here. This is the air base, so this could be the land that they're talking about here, this red area right here. All of this. Right here, Donetsk. Well, what do you think? How do you think they're going to come into some type of agreement then? I can't find the option of the mirror image. What's for dinner tonight? I don't know what you eating in your house. Wait, how you just gonna take a country's nuclear power plant? How you gonna take their power plant, they oil refineries? This is all ours.
Zelensky briefly mentioned it, but we still have no details about what exactly gets split up and if indeed there is a new Russia border.
So I think they're leaving that for the Trilateral meeting, if I'm guessing. That's number one. Number two, Putin made a very maximalist position that he's put out there. He said that Ukraine has to give up territory in Donbass that Ukrainian soldiers currently hold and are held by Ukraine. That's nonsensical. That's a non-starter. And so I think the hope is that once they begin to talk, they'll get rid of that idea, but then talk seriously about some kind of there'll never be a swap for Ukraine. I want to underscore that. They'll never say this is part of Russia, but could they agree to unification only through peaceful means, which would be de facto, that would be Russian territory? That, I think, they're leaning towards, as long as Zelensky can get a serious security guarantee from the people in the room today at the White House.
Most of the world wants peace, especially the people of Ukraine.
I don't know, like, I'm seeing it, but I'm not really seeing it. Like, the way I'm seeing it is like Putin's a bully, right? There's no way they're going to come to some type of agreement with Putin because he's like this is why so many of them are shocked, you know, and are at the table in the first place. Because this is what they're not, you know, I want, Putin got leverage on Trump. I don't want Ukraine to be a part of NATO and for us not to help them. So what do you guys think? Like, give me some of your thoughts on this. Give me some of your thoughts in the comment section on this. One's in the chat if you are liking the live, if you appreciate the space that's being provided. And if you can, please hit the thumbs up button. You might want to go to the 3 dots at the top of your screen, hit the 3 dots, and then you should see the ability to hit the thumbs up button. So like the live, like the live. Let's see what some of the, let's see what they're saying about this. Let's listen and see what they're saying. I'm looking at the breakdown of the territory. I mean, not the breakdown of the territory, but the map. Looking at it, let's see what they're saying about this. Regained by Ukraine since February 24, 2022. So I don't know if this yellow area right here, if that is something that they're arguing over, but all of this might be discussed at the Trilateral meeting.
I think that he is willing to, it sounded Friday like he is willing to effectively agree with President Putin's view of that. But I think one thing that strikes me in this, I mean, President Trump said he wants a trilateral meeting to come from this. Putin has never agreed to that. So I think after this meeting, President Trump said he's going to talk to Vladimir Putin. He said he's expecting my call. So if President Trump is able to coordinate a trilateral meeting that would happen sometime in the coming days or weeks, that would be significant. That's something that has not happened yet, of course, but I think it's important to point out that Putin has not agreed to the meeting, and he has insisted on effectively wanting to buy more time. And so we'll see how quickly that meeting is scheduled. And in terms of crisis being averted, I think you make a very good point. It was a normal meeting. We have zero idea what's happening right now in the Oval Office or what is going to come up when the European leaders sort of join this. So I think it is
because they decided after that first catastrophe of a meeting, they decided to say their peaceful and their loving endeavors in the public eye and then get down to the nitty-gritty stuff behind closed doors. That's what they really decided. What we saw and what's taking place in the Oval Office is probably two different, unless they're going to go live from the Oval Office, which I doubt.
Very, very early on, probably at the first quarter of this very consequential day in the White House.
Ambassador, when you look at what's been reported about what is on the table regarding a potential peace deal, you're talking about some sort of security guarantees in the form of a reassurance force that President Trump, as you pointed out earlier, Jeff, would not rule out U.S. forces being a part of, even though he's been skeptical of it, expressed skepticism before. And then also this idea that there would be some kind of Article 5-like agreement between allies of Ukraine to intervene if Russia were to advance its incursions down the road. Is that actually enough to keep Vladimir Putin away from his ambition of remaking the Russian imperial order?
I think we're a long way from any of that. I can't wait till the MAGA base hears that Donald Trump has committed American combat forces, U.S. forces against Russian forces on the line in Ukraine if the Russians violate the ceasefire. One nuclear power directly against another nuclear power. I don't think that's what they signed up for with Donald Trump, and I don't think he's necessarily thought through that implication either. He wants a Nobel Peace Prize.
Wait. Is that what we implying here? Is that the security that we have to back up? Are they, because if so, then that's a perfect way to provoke us to have to do something, right? If we lock in some type of security measures with Ukraine that says that we're going to put our troops on the line if Putin don't agree, then that's locking America into the war. That's like locking us into the war if Putin do something, right? That's a setup. That's a setup. That's a fucking sure way to ensure World War III. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. They setting us up. This is a catch-22. Abort, abort, abort. Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. Something's not right. Hold on. So, you know, the Trilateral is basically going to say that American troops will have to be on the front line, according to what he's saying. This would guarantee a war. This will guarantee a fight. This will be giving them exactly what they want, the fight with America. I'm not sure. I'm just saying, allegedly, supposedly. Let me play it back real quick.
That implication either. He wants a Nobel Peace Prize, and he wants it now. So he's willing to say a lot of things. He did to Nobel
Come on,
Peace
he's not
Prize.
J.G. Wentworth. Come on, he's not he's saying like Trump called J.G. Wentworth or some shit. It's my money and I want it now.
Through that implication either. He wants a Nobel Peace Prize, and he wants it now. So he's willing to say a lot of things. He didn't really commit to anything. You could have all kinds of U.S. troops in Ukraine, as we did before the invasion. We had train and assist missions. They weren't there to fight anybody. They were there to train the Ukrainians. That's very different from a combat force. And in terms of Article 5, Steve Witkoff said this yesterday in an interview with Jake Tapper. I've listened to that portion of the interview several times. I don't understand it at all, because Witkoff started with Article 5 and then started talking about enshrining a Russian commitment not to take more territory in Ukraine, not to take any other territory in Europe in Russian law, which doesn't have anything to do with Article 5 or Article 5-like guarantees. Right. Moreover, and I hate to raise this point, but the question of what Article 5 actually means in a non-NATO context, very much up in the air. And so you'll forgive me, I'll read 6 words from Article 5.
Listen.
The parties, when one is attacked, it's one attack on one is an attack on all. What do? They are, quote, to take such action, each party, take such action as it deems necessary.
See?
As it deems necessary.
Right there. So remember, she said that, you know, if we're going into this conversation through Article 5, right? Article 5 is saying that if they're using that, then they're saying that America is backing their forces behind that article, because that doesn't apply to Russia law, right? So they're trying to hold them to something that don't apply to them. This is dangerous territory if I'm listening to this properly.
And then it says, including the use of armed force, meaning you're not required to use armed force. You could, or you could send a note saying, that's terrible, do let us know how it turns out.
A lot of wiggle room there,
That's
as
right.
you point out.
Work today is broken. We're all working in 2 minutes.
This just don't sound right. Hold on, let me find somebody else, cause we gotta look for other people that might be talking about it and get different opinions. But what the fuck?
Across from Trump, Finland, a crucial country for NATO and Europe, sharing an 830-mile border with Russia.
See?
In fact, it is the longest.
Everybody's worried about their border. Everybody's worried about their piece of the pie. Finland, although they small, they're still worried about Russia using them to get in. Even the United Kingdom is worried about it, right? Russia gets in through Finland, comes in through Sweden, so on and so forth, gets to the United Kingdom. They get in this way, gets to Germany, right? So they're worried.
It's not about NATO, even though Putin may say sometimes that it is. President Stu, I appreciate your time. I'm so glad to talk to you again. I know it has been a long day, and you had to be flexible and go with the flow. Some things happened, unexpected timing, and you know, which speaks to the moment that we're in, the uncertainty.
They said that was the young guy.
You're in the room. across from Trump. You're sitting
Finland,
next
that
to
dude do not
President
look young.
Zelensky.
You see Finland?
And Trump at
You
one
see the
point
president
calls
of Finland?
Putin in a call that Russia
They
now
said he
says
was the
40
young one
minutes
at the
long.
table. What the
I'm
hell?
so curious, Mr. President.
Oh
Was there
my
any conversation
God.
in the room about
Oh,
that call? Did Trump
oh,
talk to you
oh. You see
beforehand
that
about
dude?
it, or after he got off the phone with
He
Putin?
gotta be stressing. He got all
Oh,
type
yeah,
of worry
definitely. I mean,
lines.
this was very much a day of Team Europe and Team US together supporting Ukraine. So first, as
He trying to get his
Europeans, we
foot
had
in
a
there.
pre-meeting, and
Team
then
Europe.
after that, Zelensky had a bilateral meeting with President Trump, and then we spent the better part of 4 hours together with President Trump, sussing out what we can do next. And one of the plans was for President Trump to tell President Putin basically what we had decided in the meeting. So yes, it was very coordinated and very constructive.
So you're saying that call, when the meeting sort of got paused, it sounds like what you're saying is because of the conversation that you're having in the room, that you all sort of said, okay, he said, all right, well, I mean, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I'm going to go call him now. You guys were all in agreement with it. This is sort of how it sort of organically played out.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so basically there were 3 outcomes of today. The first one was
A 40-minute call.
good conversation on security guarantees.
Today.
In other words, security guarantees.
40-minute
by
call today
Europe,
to Putin.
and coordinated with the United States for Ukraine, and we start that work on concrete things immediately. The second one was a suggestion of a bilateral meeting between Zelensky and Putin, and that was what President Trump was testing with President Putin, and President Putin had agreed to do that meeting. And then
Boom.
the third step is
So the phone call that you heard Trump making, that they say was a leak phone call, he dropped the ball, whatever. That phone call that we heard him making was a phone call to Putin to see if he would agree with a trilateral meeting. So Trump did it right then and there when they went to the Oval Office. Trump did it right then and there. Boom, I'm going to get Putin on the phone right now, right? So Putin agreed to the trilateral meeting, right? So now it's just about when, where, maybe in Moscow, right? So now it's about setting up this meeting.
after the bilateral meeting, if everything goes well, which is of course always a big if when you're dealing with Putin, there will be a trilateral meeting. So I think this was one of these meetings where we kind of took.
They had a bilateral meeting, including Europe, the bilateral meeting, including Europe, Ukraine, and the United States. And now they're going to have a trilateral meeting after that that involves Putin, so everybody can try to come up with
3 steps forward rather than any backwards.
Do you know what Trump, said to Putin on the phone? I mean, what were the specifics that he put out there?
Well, I mean, President Trump then, after the
because
call,
they're trying to
we
wipe out.
agreed
They're
to
trying to
meet
wipe
in the
out.
Oval Office, and, we had a very thorough briefing
Y'all know what it
by
is,
him on the
man.
conversation, but
It's
obviously,
bullcrap.
in diplomacy, what happens in the Oval Office stays in the Oval Office when the media is not in there.
Well, that isn't always true, but I appreciate that you are taking the high road and doing the right thing. I don't mean to laugh about it, but in this context, you're talking about he gets on the phone with Putin, then you all go into the Oval Office. There was a moment where I believe Trump was talking to your colleague, Keir Starmer, and he said something that was caught on a hot mic. He was talking about Putin. Let me play it for you, Mr. President.
I think he wants to make a deal for me. I understand that, as crazy as it sounds.
So you have told, I know in the past, Mr. President, Trump that no one can trust Putin, right? You have the longest land border in Europe with Russia, and you have a lot of troops that are on that border, as you've told me, and that's because of Russia, right, to state the obvious. What is your response when Trump says something, even at this point, that he believes that Putin will make a deal for him, because of him?
Well, I mean, I've been involved in peace mediation before, and I think that President Trump is genuinely trying to bring this war to an end, and we're all working in that direction. But of course, we are dealing with President Putin, and we do have to understand that his, basic strategic aims have not changed, and they are threefold. He wants to see Russia as a superpower. He wants to split the West, and he wants to deny the sovereignty of Ukraine. So that's the reality that we're dealing with. The reality is also that we have,
Always a hot mic moment, right? Always a hot mic
every
moment.
day. So we're trying to do our best through diplomatic means to find a solution to this conflict, to Russia's war of aggression.
And when you talk about Russia's war of aggression and the history of what Putin wants, it's personal.
Finland
to
is
you.
too
And not
small.
just because you're
Finland
not the
can't
president of
slip
Finland
up
and
and
you've got
say
the
some
largest
shit.
border, all those things that I
Hell
think
nah, not with
I mean, it's personal to you. Your father, your grandfather were both born in cities that Finland was forced to cede to the then Soviet Union. Cities that are part of Russia now. So, I mean, do you have any doubts about Putin's ambitions when it comes to expanding Russian territory?
Damn, she got so much feeling and emotion in this
We've
shit.
seen that in both
Damn,
Georgia
lady.
and in Ukraine. But, I keep on stressing the basics of it.
Just
So
say it
statehood is
already.
based
Shit,
on
you got some hate in
independence,
your heart, let it
sovereignty, and
out.
territorial
Shit.
integrity. And after World War II, which for us was the Winter War and the War of Continuation, Finland retained independence, unlike, for instance, our Baltic friends, unfortunately. But we lost sovereignty to decide, and we lost territory. But the difference there is that at that time, Finland was alone. But now Ukraine is not alone. And that's why I think it's so important that all of us, both Team Europe and Team US, keep on working for the independence, for the sovereignty, and the territorial integrity of Ukraine. And to be honest, I think if we work on the security guarantees, that will guarantee sovereignty and it will strengthen territorial integrity as well.
President Stubb, I appreciate your time and thank you so much. I'm glad to speak with you again, sir.
Thank you.
It sound good. That shit sound good. But that shit sound like a trap for everybody. Let's be honest. Because Putin might be like, nah, you just ganged up with everybody. You feel me? You just ganged up with everybody. You sat down with all of them.
United States, it's a good part of our diplomacy.
A small country, but a crucial country, and you have the longest land border with Russia.
And there's a normal buildup. Yeah.
His invasion of Ukraine is this, right? Well, if Ukraine hadn't wanted to join NATO, Putin wouldn't have invaded, right? It's the propaganda that comes out of Moscow. It is also what we hear from some politicians, actually, frankly, including President Trump, who made this exact point. Here he is.
I believe that's the reason the war started, because Biden went out and said that they could join NATO, and he shouldn't have said that.
So they say, look, NATO's on Russia's border. That's why Putin invaded. You can't have NATO along the border. But again, to make the point, you've got the largest land border with Russia, and you are in NATO. So what do you say to those people who will explain and excuse Putin's invasion using the NATO rationale?
Well, probably two answers on that. The first one is that I don't think Finland would have joined NATO had not Putin attacked Ukraine. And of course, Finland and Ukraine are a different kettle of fish, and we have a very different history. Now, the second reason is that I think actually Putin made one of the biggest strategic and tactical mistakes in recent military history. He underestimated the power of the Ukrainian army, he overestimated his own army, and he underestimated the resolve of the unity of the West. What was he trying to do? He was trying to make Ukraine Russian. Well, it became European. He tried to split the European Union. I've never seen it more united. He tried to split the transatlantic partnership, and especially NATO, and he ended up with neutral Sweden and Finland joining NATO. So you could perhaps argue that whatever he made was a colossal mistake.
President Stubb, thank you so much for your time. Let's go now to former U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine, Bridget Brink. She resigned recently due to President Trump's policy on Ukraine.
Why would he say that? You can't just say that about Putin like that. You can't just be like he made one of the biggest mistakes and underestimating the Ukraine. What the fuck? Why would you say that? That you just put your foot in your own mouth. Sometimes you gotta know when to. Well, okay. Finland is backed up by NATO, right? Because in order for them to they had to join NATO. Yeah, you're right. It is true, but they had to join NATO. Like Finland said, they wouldn't have joined NATO if Trump. I mean, not Trump. They wouldn't have joined NATO if Putin didn't invade Ukraine, right? So Finland got scared and said, okay, we're next. You know what I mean? So they joined NATO, right? So you have that. Sweden is neutral. Sweden's neutral. They staying strong with their, but then you have the UK right there. UK is followed up right there, right? So a lot of people are scared of what Russia might do if they get out. A lot of people are scared of it's like Russia said, it's like or the guy from Finland said, he's looking to divide the West. He's looking for, split the West up, so on and so forth. And I don't really know what they're going through over there because we're not over there, right? The Ukraine saying 20,000. I can't imagine 20,000 children being ripped from their parents, so on and so forth, given other names, whatever the case may be, right? Joined the same time as Finland. Who joined the same time as Finland? Ukraine is like well, Biden said that Ukraine could join, and Trump is trying to make it so Ukraine can't join. So how do you where do you go? Because that's the type of support that Ukraine is asking for, to join NATO so they can have some level of, that type of security. And that's probably where all these trilateral, everybody's looking for peace. Everybody's looking for peace. So, you got a lot of great things happening around that. Everybody's, worried about what's going to happen. They have Trump. It's like we said from the beginning, right? At least somebody's at the table with Putin, right? At least the table is somebody's at the table, right? Let me see. How long ago was this?
Because on the basis of a possible threat from the East, it was always possible to extort money from taxpayers and to explain one's own economic mistakes with a threat from the East.
Nah, that ain't it. That's old right there.
Annexed Crimea, but that Western countries contributed to the coup d'etat in Ukraine. We...
That was the 17th. This was the 17th. That was yesterday. So the next thing would be the Trilateral meeting. We're going to keep you guys posted on that, on what's going to happen with that. Make sure you put your notifications on. Hit the subscription button, subscribe, Replay Gang. Appreciate you guys. Sorry for shaking the screen so much. Replay Gang, appreciate you guys. Keeping you guys posted on this as much as possible. We have other things and other topics that we're going to talk about. Make sure you guys check the live out from earlier, talking about the 3-Eye Atlas and everything like that, so on and so forth. scientists and astronomers have discovered that we might have a portal that connects our solar system to other star constellations. So they said that they found that portal, so on and so forth. There's a lot of things that's changing in this world, a lot of things that's happening in this world. Be a part of it. Hey, appreciate you subbing, man. Appreciate you subbing. Craig, go to Ukraine. Anybody going to Ukraine? Using Google, it shows the reason why they don't want to join. They don't want to join NATO? I'm not saying there's not reasons why people don't want to join NATO. A lot of people like to keep their independency. A lot of people like to keep, people are creatures of habit. So the people of that country don't want to be up under different levels of rulership, so on and so forth. So, great things is happening.
Thank you very much for being here. It's a great honor to have you. The Alaska summit reinforced my belief that while difficult, peace is within reach, and I believe that in a very significant step, President Putin agreed that Russia would accept security guarantees for Ukraine, and this is one of the key points that we need to consider, and we're going to be considering that at the table.
Craig,
so
go to Ukraine.
We'll do what, essentially? I'm optimistic that collectively we can reach an agreement that would deter any future aggression against Ukraine, and I actually think there won't be. I think that's even overrated, largely overrated, but we're going to find out. And I think that the European nations are going to take a lot of the burden. We're going to help them, and we're going to make it very secure. We also need to discuss the possible exchanges of territory, taking into consideration the current line of contact. That means the war zone, the war lines that are pretty obvious, very sad actually to look at them, and negotiating positions. President Putin, also you have President of Ukraine, who is, you just met a little while ago, and we're going to try and get a three-party meeting, maybe as soon as we can. And I have a feeling you and President Putin are going to work something out. Ultimately, this is a decision that can only be, and it can be done in the near future, whatever you feel.
Before yesterday and etc. So a lot of countries on the side of Ukraine, our people, and all of us want to finish this war, stop Russia, and stop this war. We spoke about it, and we will speak more about security guarantees. This is very important that the United States gives such strong signal and is ready for security guarantees. The second point, or maybe the first, humanitarian direction, very important to exchange all the prisoners, and I think that President will help, and I was very thankful to your wife again, Mr. President, for the letter about our abducted children.
Oh,
and,
my live
I hope
restriction
that
is
really
up on YouTube, on TikTok. Let me reset
historic
the
role for
live.
people to bring
I'm no longer
kids back
restricted.
to families and be happy. And get the families. Yes, this is so important, and I'm happy that we discussed it.
What?
This
Kevin
with
Gates
President,
invited me to join his
that we will
bulletin board. What?
decisions. And then what is very important,
No
that
way.
all the sensitive things, territorial, etc., we will discuss on the level of leaders during Trilateral meeting, and President Trump will try to organize such meeting, and he said that he will come or not come. Ukraine will be happy if you will
both want me
participate.
there, I will be there.
Yeah, thank you. And I think this is very important. Yeah, so security guarantees bring kids back, and all our people, not only warriors, first of all warriors, and all the civilians, journalists, a lot of people in prison. So we need them back. And guarantees which will work for the years, we spoke about it, and I showed the President a lot of details on the battlefield, on the map. Thank you so much. Thank you for the map, by the way.
Good map.
It was great. Yeah. I'm thinking how to take it back.
We'll get you.
No. I think that we had constructive, specific meeting, and I'm very thankful to all the leaders who are here, and you help a lot, and so we're happy that we have such big unity today. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much,
for hosting us.
Mr.
Thank you.
President. I think you'll see that President Putin really would like to do something else. I think when we set that up, when we do, I think it's going to be when, not if. I think you're going to see some really positive moves. I know there's over 1,000 prisoners, and I know they're going to release them. Maybe they're going to release them very soon, like immediately, which I think is great. But we're going to set that up today after this meeting. So very good and great remarks. I appreciate it. Mark, as head of NATO, maybe you could say a few words, please.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, the world is one big stage. The world is really one big stage, people. The world is one big stage. Please make sure you hit that like button right at the top of the screen. If you're looking at the top of the screen, you see the 3 dots. You can hit the like button. Matter of fact, we're not even worried about the like buttons no more. I just come to the realization. TikTok, YouTube always tell people to push the like button. Everybody knows they can push the like button. Some people might not know where to find it at or know how to get to it, but we know what we can do over here, right? So don't even worry about the like button. Just hit that share button, right? Hit that share button or copy the link. Let's keep it in the algorithm. Let's keep it going. We got some good numbers in here. That's great. Love is love. Namaste. Ashe. Salutation. Shalom. I hope to see you guys in the Discord. Or I hope to see you guys, we are moving to greater things. We are building. We are growing. I appreciate you guys greatly. I hope that you hit the sub button. Replay gang, do your thing. I hope people sub, If not, I appreciate you guys for being here, man. Love is love, man. You guys are the real people. And I appreciate you guys for stopping through. I appreciate you guys for giving me your time, right? Me and the Atlas family greatly appreciate it. Love is love. Namaste. Ashe. And love is love. Be greater. Be greater. Be greater. All right. We'll keep you posted with the latest as much as possible. We'll keep you guys updated. Tory Lane's back in court, right? We'll let you know what's going on with the McDonald's situation. Rising Phoenix, right? When will you ever hear me? Always is, always was, will always be just love, always complete, always enough. Love is love. Hey, remember, man, we're better together. There's no me without you. One's image of oneself should be greater than reality. You're the greatest thing in this world, and someone needs to remind you that. Every now and again, we need to remind each other that we are great. So cold that chaos sits on your throne. Stuck in a loop for how long? You're convinced that right is wrong. When I speak, you say you're listening. When will you ever hear me? Love is love, love is love. Always is, always was, will always be just love, always complete. Y'all know what we gonna do. We going over to TikTok to play the game. Y'all know we gotta go stream the game. Y'all know we gotta go play the game. Y'all know what we do. Play the game for a couple of hours. I appreciate you guys. We'll be back in the morning in the AM with some knowledge. I appreciate you guys. If nobody told y'all that they love y'all, let me be the first but not the last to tell you that I love you. Atlas family, I'll see y'all over at the Discord. Hope you guys appreciate the live. I know I appreciate your time. I hope you appreciate mine. And you guys have a great night. Be great. on purpose. All right? Be great on purpose. Love is love.